The Draconis sanctuary spanned 47 acres of reinforced terrain, shielded by enchanted barriers thick enough to stop a siege weapon. Inside those walls lived the rarest creatures in the known galaxy, dragons. 12 species. Over 200 individuals. And at the center of it all, in a volcanic stone enclosure the size of a football stadium, lived Valthor. Alpha of Alphas. The oldest living dragon on record. And he had not eaten in 19 days. Noah Mercer arrived at the sanctuary on a Tuesday morning with a battered duffel bag, a thermos of black coffee, and a reputation that preceded him like thunder before a storm. He was not the tallest man. Not the most decorated. He held no noble title, carried no ancient bloodline, and bore no enchanted armor. What Noah Mercer carried was something the sanctuary's board of directors had been unable to quantify in their 300-page evaluation report: an instinct. The previous caretakers, 7 of them, across 6 different species, had all walked away from Valthor's enclosure. 2 had been carried away on stretchers. 1 had never spoken again. Valthor, the elders said, was choosing. He was waiting for something. Or someone. The sanctuary's director, a tall Elveran woman named Sayara, met Noah at the gate with folded arms and skeptical eyes. "You understand," she said carefully, "that we are not asking you to tame him. We are asking you to survive him long enough to establish basic trust." Noah took a slow sip of his coffee. "Has anyone tried just talking to him?" Sayara blinked. "He speaks 17 languages. Our linguists tried." "Not at him," Noah said. "To him." She had no answer for that. The enclosure smelled of sulfur and ancient stone. The heat hit Noah the moment the outer gate sealed behind him, a dry, pressing weight, like standing inside a furnace that had learned patience. He didn't run. He didn't draw a weapon. He didn't reach for the tranquilizer staff clipped to his belt. He sat down on a flat rock near the center of the enclosure, set his thermos beside him, and waited. Valthor watched from the ridge above. The dragon was enormous, scales the color of cooling lava, each one edged in a faint luminescent gold. His wingspan, when fully extended, had once shattered every glass panel in the eastern observation tower. His eyes were the deep amber of fossilized resin, ancient and unblinking, holding the kind of intelligence that made most sentient beings want to look away. He stared at the human. The human stared back. Neither moved for 47 minutes. Then Noah Mercer did something no caretaker before him had done. He opened his thermos, poured a second cup into the cap, and set it on the rock beside him. An offering. Not of power. Not of submission. Just company. Valthor descended. The sound of 4 tons of dragon landing 20 feet away registered in Noah's chest more than his ears, a deep, bone-settling thud that vibrated up through the rock. The air pressure shifted. The temperature spiked. Noah did not flinch. He had grown up on the border settlements of New Calidra, where mining tremors woke you every other morning and machinery the size of houses operated 10 meters from the kitchen window. Loud, heavy, hot things were simply Tuesday to Noah Mercer. Valthor lowered his massive head until one amber eye was level with the seated human. The eye alone was larger than Noah's torso. A low sound emanated from the dragon's chest, not quite a growl, not quite a purr. A question, maybe. An assessment. "You're not scared," Valthor said. His voice was like gravel sliding down a mountain, deep, deliberate, each word chosen with the precision of a creature that had spoken across centuries. "Not particularly," Noah said. He gestured at the extra cup. "Coffee?" Silence. "Then, that vessel is absurdly small. Most things are, relative to you. Doesn't make them useless." Another silence. Longer this time. Valthor's nostrils flared, reading the air, reading Noah, cataloging whatever ancient biological data dragons collected when they assessed a new being. "The others were afraid," Valthor said finally. "Fear makes them loud." erratic. They reached for their weapons or their words before I could finish a thought. That sounds exhausting, Noah said genuinely. The amber eye blinked once. Slowly. It is. Noah turned the thermos cap in his hands. I read your intake file. All 1,800 pages. Including the addendum the third caretaker wrote before she resigned. He paused. She said you weren't aggressive. She said you were lonely. The ground trembled faintly, not from movement, but from the sound Valthor made in his chest. Deep. Complicated. The kind of sound that didn't have a clean translation in any language Noah spoke, but that he understood anyway, the way you understand a song even when you don't know the words. She was perceptive, Valthor said. She was also afraid. I'm not her. No. The great head tilted just slightly. What are you? Noah thought about it honestly. A guy who's been underestimated his whole life. Turns out that makes you pretty good at paying attention to things other people dismiss. Over the following weeks, Noah Mercer built something the sanctuary's directors called unprecedented and the research teams called impossible. He built a routine. Every morning, he arrived at 0600 with his thermos. He sat on the flat rock. He talked about whatever came to mind. News from the outer settlements. A book he was reading. The particular way the volcanic stone changed color in the early light. He never demanded Valthor respond. He never pushed for interaction. He simply showed up, the way reliable things do. On the 8th day, Valthor ate. Not because Noah asked him to. Because Noah had identified, through 1,800 pages of records and 3 weeks of careful observation, that Valthor's preferred prey species had been replaced in the feeding rotation 6 months ago, the same month the alpha had stopped eating. A dietary substitution made by a well-meaning nutritionist who had never actually spent time with the dragon. Noah reinstated the original diet. He left a note for the nutritionist that was professional but firm. Valthor finished his meal in 12 minutes. On the 15th day, the dragon spoke first. You rearranged the western perimeter rocks, Valthor said, when Noah arrived. You kept sleeping in the sun's shadow. The ridge blocks the light by 0800. I thought you might want it longer. A pause. You moved 4 tons of volcanic stone. Borrowed a loader from maintenance. Took about 3 hours. For my comfort. You've been uncomfortable for 19 days before I got here. Figured we were due a correction. The sound Valthor made then was one that no researcher, linguist, or caretaker had ever documented in the official record. The sanctuary's audio equipment picked it up as a low-frequency vibration. The junior staff felt it in their teeth. Noah Mercer recognized it immediately. It was laughter. The board of directors convened 6 weeks after Noah's arrival to review his progress report. They expected data. Feeding charts. Behavioral metrics. What they received was a single handwritten page. Valthor as well. He asks that the north observation drones be redirected. The lens reflection bothers his left eye at midday. I've already handled it. He's agreed to allow the medical team access for the annual examination, on the condition that Dr. Sayara conducts it personally and that it happens before 1000, when the light is good and he's in a better mood. He also wants it noted, for the record, that he selected me. Not the other way around. Noah Mercer, caretaker. The board debated this for 40 minutes. Sayara read it once, set it down, and smiled in the quiet way of someone who has just watched something rare occur. In his enclosure, Valthor lay stretched across the repositioned rocks in the full morning sun, amber eyes half closed, the posture of a creature that had, after a very long time, finally decided to rest. Because he had found what he was waiting for. Not a warrior. Not a scholar. Not a diplomat or a priest or a keeper of ancient rites. A human. with a thermos and a flat rock and the particular, stubborn, magnificent audacity to simply show up day after day and mean it. That, the Alpha Dragon had decided, was enough. More than enough.